Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another weekly watch list where we go over all of the given news, setups, what we're looking at on Monday, all the way through the rest of the week. This case, it's going to be Tuesday through the week, and what we're looking at setups wise going into the first day of the week, as well as potentially what we're looking at the rest of the week as well. So, starting off as always with earnings, we really don't have a whole lot significant to what it is we do with scalping. Walmart, we have looked at Carvana in the past. Obvious shit stocks. We have some really nice setups here, though, this week I'm excited to talk about. So, not even going to be mentioning those personally. Nothing really worth making note of. But aside from those two, really, again, there's nothing here. So, going straight into the actual important thing here, the news. Of course, Monday, like I said, was closed from President's Day. We do have on Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Empire State Manufacturing Index. 10 a.m. we have NAHB Housing Market Index. And then 10:20 a.m. we have FOMC member Daly speaks. Anybody who's intraday trading USD FOMC member Bar speaks, and then that's at 1 p.m. 4 p.m. we have TIC long-term purchases. Okay. On Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. we have building permits, housing starts. 2 p.m. we have FOMC minutes. Thursday we have a little bit more news than any of the other days during the week. Nothing really crazy, but we do have at 8:30 a.m. unemployment claims, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. 9:35, something to be really aware of here. 9:35, right off open. FOMC member Goldsby speaks. Probably going to be the most significant news this week, honestly. 10 a.m. CB leading index MM. 10:30 a.m. natural gas shortage, and then at 12 p.m. crude oil inventories. Everything after that pretty insignificant. Coming into Friday, we have a lot of more international relations-based news. Nothing really too nationally based. Other than maybe a flash manufacturing PI flash services at 9:45. And then 10 a.m. existing home sales, revived UOM sentiment, consumer sentiment, and revised UOM inflation expectations. Nothing really super duper significant. But there's going to be an insane amount of news pre-market here internationally, and this will likely have a significant effect on the U.S. stock market and how this decides to move this week on Friday. But again, it's going to be Friday, so it might be something to be very aware of potentially an elevated, higher volatility, more risk, potentially even scaling down more than we usually do. We'll see just kind of what the determined price action ends up being that given day. Starting as always with the markets right off the bat with NQ. Don't have a lot of crazy levels here. Haven't had a whole lot lately to be making a crazy big point of, but 22,276. 22,300, obviously going to be a key psychological level right here as a whole number on the market. And then the final one's going to be 22,450 as the all-time high, and then 22,400 I meant to make a note of as an area of rejection points here. So those are going to be your levels, realistically speaking, for this week on the NASDAQ or QQQ, whatever you want to look at. The same thing, really. Same structure, same market. So it's going to be up to you guys what you want to look at there. But overall, looking at ES on the futures, we're going to be looking at an ascending consolidation pennant break here. So just a nice little ascending pennant. I didn't chart it up. I just kind of see it. If I can chart this real quick. You can see right here, nice little ascending pennant structure here. So we're looking at upside sentiment here completely positively. There's no question about that. A nice breakout here. Realistically, probably going to be here Tuesday morning, a nice clean breakout, and likely see all-time highs here, especially with the current implementation of Trump's tariffs and so forth, and the U.S. economy's strength is starting to become pretty significant, obviously, with those implementations, as he's been noting every Monday on his presidential reforms and presidential order issuances, 50 to 60 every Monday. You can see these things. They're going to have a significant effect, and as they already are, you can see this over the last few weeks, the nice grind upwards. We are approaching recent lows right around the time of his inauguration with that massive sell-off that one weekend. And ever since then, with the tariff implementation, there's just been nothing but a strong, incredibly strong recovery to all-time highs here. So this is going to be a pretty significant week, I think, personally, with this kind of breakout here setting up on the actual markets on ES, potentially even something for people to trade on the ES because of how strong this really is. I see this as being a very strong swing. But going into the actual watch list this week, funny enough, this just changed. I just updated it because of all the price action movement variability we just got pre-market here out of nowhere. Meta is the same. So we got the main watches here today is Meta, Nvidia, Tesla, and SMCI. As we love to see, the top three are in there. Really excited for this tomorrow. I think this is going to be a pretty great day overall, pretty big payday. As long as we continue to do what we always do and manage risk and become profitable, serious, good traders. Overall, what we're looking at is going to be the 741 level on Meta. 740 really is where I'm looking to kind of take this into 741. However, if that does break pre-market, which it very much could, depending on how the strength kind of continues and follows through, you can see it here. It's likely going to have broken by then. I will be looking to take the new high, likely through 745 with the correct structure. Now, we do have a trend line here on a 5-minute, something to be wary of. However, I think in the way in which we're approaching, I don't know if we're even going to be touching that coming into tomorrow morning. Okay, so that's going to be the actual level we're looking at there. 740, 741, and the 745 is the all-time high there. And we're going to go from there, see how things move. So we always like to say be very careful with all-time highs. You want to have an all-time high with a structured setup, and this is a structured setup. We're developing into a nice little bull flag here on the 1 hour, as well as you can see this on the 5-minute even better, more in-depth bull flag. So very clean setup, not just some ascending, all-time high with no type of structure. Just had a little bit of a pullback. We saw orders filled for sellers, so I like this. Going into NVIDIA, we're looking at NVIDIA 142. Now, again, this is NVIDIA, so, sorry, 141, my mistake. 141. Again, this is NVIDIA, not like Tesla or Meta. It's the top 3, but it's the bottom of the 3 always for me personally because of the likelihood of rejection and lack of follow through and the slowness of this stock. So I'm personally only looking at 141 on this to the gap fill of 141.88. So I'm looking for an 88-cent target. My stop loss will be probably 141.50 cents. The entry is 140.80 cents if we approach in the right way. 140.90 cents to break through and follow through of that, of course, to have valid risk. Pretty simple setup, nothing much else to be said there. Tesla, this was not even going to be in a watch, but we all of a sudden had a crazy magic power candle. As we know, Tesla loves to do this crazy shit here. So looking at Tesla 365, I really did not expect this to come until Wednesday, if I'm being honest. You can see when I first looked at this about an hour ago, the stock was sitting right around this area here, around 348, and all of a sudden we've just had a power move of almost 15 points, and it happened within about a 5-minute span-ish. You can just see here, sorry, 15-minute span, 15, 20 minutes. So we're going to be looking at the 365 level. Definitely my main watch right next to Meta off open with Monday morning here, or sorry, Tuesday morning coming up. Really clean setup opportunity. As long as we have a bit of a pullback going into the level, taking this off open, going to be something that's really up to the variability of how this ends up setting up, coming off open, and the actual divergent strength this possesses in relation to that of QQQ, of course, as always. Not going to be looking to take this if this is just following strictly the market, especially off of open, seeing as I would be taking this with full size. So definitely need to be taking the only highest quality setup here on this given day. SMCI going to be the last one here, and then I have 2 side watches I'm going to make note of. Honestly, one of them which maybe end up a main watch, but we do so many main watches, honestly, it's hard to say. SMCI was looking strictly at the 50 level, however, 51 does not seem very bad either. This kind of strength here is pretty paramount. You can see here back at our previous test, the 50 level being the all-time high in a sense. Let's see if we go all the way back. Oh, not an all-time high, sorry, that's a recent high. That's our most recent high, and this is the most divergently strong this stock has been in some time. I knew that was a pretty high point to be attaining. So for me to take this, I don't know if I'm going to be taking this at the actual level that we're at currently. I'm really only looking to take this at 50, 51. I don't know if I'm going to end up taking this at the 50 level. So we're going to end up seeing what we end up getting to and just kind of see how this ends up structuring. If this breaks 50 pre-market, like I said, it's going to be divergent strength that really discerns whether or not I end up taking this setup or not. Okay. Looking at the actual last 2 setups, we have MSTR and Netflix. Again, Netflix is really on the line for being promoted to a top watch for me personally. The only reason it's not is because it's Netflix. Okay, so the risk is there, the spread's there, the pullbacks hit, so on and so forth. We all know, anybody that's traded this, the variables here. Nothing like Tesla, nothing like Meta. So to put this as the main watch is very challenging, very difficult for me to say that. So I don't think I will be. But my actual level here would be the high, of course, into 1,065 through potentially even 1,070. But the way this is structuring up, I'm probably not going to look to see that high of a target. Set a $5 move is there. It could be happening. It could be attained on Netflix. However, that's just such a large move to expect, and the pullbacks on this, essentially after these breaks we get on this stock, are pretty significant. we break $3 and then we have a wick. It's a wick of $3, right? And then it rejects straight through into a rejection and a major stop if you hold. So to me, this stock is a major scalp only stock. So 1,065, 1,070. If 1,070 is already 1,065 is already broken, we'll have to just see how 1,070 approaches. But this is a great momentum stock to definitely scalp without a question. MSTR as well. MSTR has some divergent strength here with relation to the market. Now, we did have a bit of a pullback gap structure here. I was looking at the 345 level here, the breakthrough into 350 continuation. But overall, like I said, this is going to be a main side watch, not a main watch, probably a C- at best at the current moment. Maybe even a D+ setup for me personally compared to my other ones. Likely going to skip this, but it comes up to the variables of whether or not this does decide to move the way I needed to and structure up the way I needed to with relation to the market and its divergent strength or weakness, whatever. So that's going to be the side watch there. MSTR 345 up through 350. Likely first target be the break of 345, entry 344, 80, 70 cents, something like that. Catch a little 7% scalp off the high break, and then probably a large return, 20 to 30, 40% potentially, all the way to 350 break. So that's going to be this weekly watch list, guys. I appreciate you for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe. I offer mentoring. DM me on Instagram at Cobalt Trades with any questions on one-on-one or mentorship program. And I'll see you guys next week. And let's kill it this week. Risk management, #1 priority this week, as every week, as well as hyper selectivity. All right, so let's kill it this week. Let's make lots of cash, and let's make lots of the best decisions we can every day, guys. Have a great week. Peace.